A couple of years, things may change when all the kids grow up and start wearing ties and going to the polls.
You ever have that feeling where you're not sure if you're awake or still dreaming?
And if you thought Lincoln consecrated Gettysburg with his soaring rhetoric, well, buckle up.
For what? Oh my shit. Want my shit, man. What you fucking treat people with respect? Yeah, man. Me too, motherfucker. Me too. Me too. Me too. Me too. Me too. Me too.
Evening, Bays. Evening, Beta Male. I'd like to start off with a quote by Einstein, who once said, "The thing about smart motherfuckers is that they look like crazy motherfuckers to stupid motherfucker."
Turn my mic back on. Turn my mic back on. Turn my mic back on. Turn my mic back on.
We're not going to turn your mic back on.
Why are you silencing me?
You directed derogatory language at us, so that's the end of your comment.
You guys go by that. Man, are you guys safe? That's your rule, man. Turn my mic back on. Turn my mic back on.
You can sit down and enjoy the rest of the meeting with us, or you can leave, but your public comment is over.
Why?
Because of your vulgar language.
What about it? What about it? I'm campaigning. I'm speaking to my base right
So
here.
I'm going to ask you one more time. You can sit back down in the gallery. Yeah.
No. I want to speak, man. I want to speak. You've done this to me a lot. You need to let me speak.
No.
You need to let me speak. You need to let me speak. This is censorship. I have a right to speak.
You can sit down or you can leave.
I have a right to speak. Like you're a tyrant. You're a tyrant.
Yeah.
You're a tyrant.
I'm going to give you one last opportunity to sit down or leave on your own.
This is what tyrants do. I'm your political opposition. You tell me to get out of here. So I come to my base. It's Dr. Speaks, man. This
Is there anybody else?
fucking bullshit. You fucking know it's fucking bullshit. I'm gonna shut the fuck up, man. This is fucking bullshit. This is fucking bullshit. Wait till I'm up there and I do that shit to you, man. You gonna like that shit? You gonna like it?
Please leave.
I'm up there and I don't come to you, motherfucker. You gonna like that shit? No, you're not, man. You're not. This is fucking wrong. It's a miracle, man. It's a miracle.
Our staff went through an appeal process and communicated further with YouTube, but just wanted to put that on the record and note that we've updated our comments, our instructions for general public comment a bit about that, and also just want to give space if either commissioners have any thing to add to that or any details that I may have missed from discussions with staff. Okay. So I will just offer some instructions for public comment before we kick off our meeting. Each action item on the agenda will offer an opportunity for relevant public comment about that topic. We ask that you wait until the agenda item that you're here for comes up for discussion. Additionally, near the start of our meeting, we will invite folks to provide general public comment to the commission, which is a time for addressing issues not on today's agenda, but related to general county business. Just making sure that we didn't have any issues with it does look like we're recording, sorry. The box distracted me for a moment. Sorry for the interruption. I just want to make sure we were still recording. All public comments should be directed to the county commission. The public should also know that comments received by the commission during our meetings do not represent the views of Douglas County government. And if deemed to be necessary,
I've got my sign here. We're tired of the tax increases. Okay? And they want to blame it on the, I'll turn it around here so everybody at home can see. They're trying to blame it on the escalation of property values, but it's also your spending. You guys are spending way too much money, and you're expecting people that can't afford to pay their own rents and their own food bills to continue to fund this excessive spending spree you guys have been on. Part of that excessive spending spree is attorney's fees that you're spending to defend lawsuits for throwing people out of commission meetings for carrying a sign like this. I want to point out to everybody in the room, it looks like they may have learned their lesson, haven't they? That a sign like this doesn't get you thrown out of a commission meeting anymore, does it? Is that because your attorneys have told you can't do it at the cost of us taxpayers? I appreciate the fact that you're able to sit here for 3 minutes and respect the people's time to speak. We're tired of paying your excessive bills. Once the attorney's bills are paid and that's taken care of, we need to address the county spending as well, because we're spending way too much. And the last thing before I leave, I like what they said. Your setbacks at 2,500 feet and that ice throw stuff, come on, guys. Come on.
Thank you. Do we have any other?
Alrighty. A few weeks ago, I came here saying that Commissioner Patrick Kelly is a giant pussy because he refused to meet with a constituent due to Patrick saying he didn't feel safe because of the tone and words that the constituent used while speaking here during general public comment. Let's go ahead and read some more of those YouTube comments. Another coward scared of accountability. This guy sounds like an absolute wimp. Grow up and be a man.
You are not speaking about items that are specific to the business of the county. You are attacking his character.
But
And this is
his
your
char-
last
it's his
warning
character.
to talk about items that are specific to the county commission.
Can you explain to me how his character isn't germane to the business of the commissioner's character has nothing to do with the commission? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not going to go back and forth with you, Justin. I've said what I said.
This lady here says, I have more balls than Patrick too.
Please mute the mic, Sarah.
Why can't you guys just sit and listen for 3 minutes?
That does move us to general public comment. We don't have a sign-up list going at the moment, do we? So please come on up and just state your name and address for our meeting minutes.
Hi, my name is Sue Herrick. I'm a Lawrence resident. And Karen, I wanted to begin by telling you that I appreciate your stoic demeanor and that you give the impression that you're really listening to us. And I appreciate that to no end. You'll have a price to pay, both in court and at the ballot box. People of courage meet their constituents and rally with them. They do not hide and play a victim. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
Right about now is I'm going to start talking about the character of our commissioners, and I freaking dare you to shut me down. I dare you to turn off this mic. Patrick Kelly, I am sorry, but I have to agree with the man. You, sir, are a pussy.
Michael, we'd love to have you address us on anything of issue.
If you shut me down,
But
I
you'll have to
guarantee
manage
I
your
guarantee you,
aggressive language. It's
and I
not the
guarantee
words.
you, but Patrick Kelly is a pussy, and I'm going to be allowed to say that up
You've
here.
been warned.
And you're
Thank
not
you,
going to
Sarah.
stop me. So we are going to stop. Okay, I'm going to continue to go on for the 3 minutes that I'm up here.
All right, I got a couple of questions. So my comments that I'm about to read here are quotes from last week's meeting. So therefore, this is germane because it was said in last week's meeting. And so here's what was said. Yes, Patrick, you are less of a person. Exactly. You are far, far below being a real man.
I'm afraid we're not going to allow personal insults. You can certainly make any other comments
This was
you'd like.
spoken at last meeting, so this is
You've been warned.
this is germane, and it is true about his character, whether it's a personal insult or not. It is true about his character. Another coward scared of accountability. This guy sounds like an absolute wimp. Grow up and be a man. Our government has become cowards, and it makes me ashamed of mankind. What a cowardly man that man is. I have more balls than Patrick, too.
We're done.
He needs a safe space. These words that were spoken at last week's meeting.
Do you have anyone else who's here for general public comment?
Go.
My name is Dr. Justin Spees. At last week's meeting
Gotta
during
record
general
it for
public
a little
comment,
more than
someone said
prosperity, man.
Commissioner Karen Whiting, quote, Karen, I want to
I
begin by
believe, Justin,
saying
we're
I
not going to allow the sign this
I
time.
appreciate your
So if you could
stoic
please put
demeanor.
it down, that would be wonderful.
What's wrong with the sign?
You've
What's
been-
wrong with the sign,
You've been
Karen?
warned.
What's wrong with the sign?
Do you have any other public comment that is unrelated?
I sure do. They said, Karen, I want to begin by saying I appreciate your stoic demeanor and that you give the impression that you're really listening to us, and I appreciate that to no end. She was allowed by this commission to say that without interruption or muting her microphone. After her, I spoke and said the words out loud that are on my sign and was muted.
Justin,
So
I
you
need to
all
have
allow
you put the
praise but
sign
not
down.
criticism?
And I think we're done with your public comment. Thank you very
I'm
much.
not
You're
allowed
welcome
to
to
say
stay.
what's on my sign.
Thank you.
In previous meetings.
Is there
people
anyone
have
else who would like-
praise on the commission without being silenced, without fear of being silenced. They were afraid
I think
to
we
say
could-
things like, we're here to thank you for your part. in
Thank you,
addressing
Chad.
homelessness. I appreciate the effort you all have put
Is there
in
anyone
over
else
the
who'd like
past
to give
2
public
years.
comment? Since
Justin,
we're
you're
done with
welcome.
this one.
Justin, you can stay for the meeting with us, but your public comment is ended.
Why is it ended?
So the chair is going to call on the next person for public comment.
This is protected speech. Why has my,
Sarah,
this is
we
protected
need to
speech.
get,
You guys realize what's happening, right?
okay.
First Amendment's getting taught in Douglas County tonight.
I'm exercising my First Amendment right to speak to you guys, and it happened to be criticizing you. But if I was saying, hey, you guys are the best, it'd be perfectly fine.
Justin, you're welcome to stay, but you need to take a seat.
Are you guys all right? Just sit there on your knees then. Yeah. What is with this? Yeah. It's me right now. Come up here and say something unpopular. It'll be you.
Who else would
Then
like
you
to
guys
give
will really
general
like it
public
then,
comment?
won't you? Sheriff coming? Sheriff coming? These words are really hurtful, aren't they? They're really hurtful. That's your character, Patrick. And it's the truth.
I'll come up here without the sign. There's a lesson getting taught in this county.
Can you start with your name?
I don't
please?
know. I don't need to give you my name. I don't need to give you my address, and I obviously don't need to sign in to be able to come up here and speak, as I tried to tell somebody else. Ladies and gentlemen in the room, what we're trying to do is put our First Amendment back as a priority where it should be from the beginning.
Please speak to the commission, not to the room.
And
Would you care to address that?
And is there not ladies and gentlemen at that podium? Patrick, I would appreciate you not interrupting me anymore. What is being taught here is that the First Amendment reigns supreme. You've created a public forum where you've invited public comment, and now you're limiting people based on the content of their speech, their chosen words. These are things that our founding fathers gave their lives for, folks. And we have 3 very sensitive individuals up here who can't handle a little free speech. I normally wouldn't come in with a sign saying what it says. This is a bold move for me because it's not my norm, and you all know this. But when you tell me I can't, I will, because I know I have the right to. You guys are infringing on the First Amendment. And you can't continue to do that. So I'm going to stand over there with that sign for the remainder of the evening. I might even try to get it on camera a couple times, because we're going to show you guys that the First Amendment rules.
Is there anyone else who'd like to give general public comment? Do we have anyone online, Sarah?
Beyond that, I do want to make a point of order before we start public comment and ask, Deputy, can you please have Justin just step back and stand near the wall? We've been very patient. You've made your point. You can still stand there. You've been very close to staff. And I would just like you to step back because that's a traffic way for folks that may be leaving the room after their public comment. So you can just stand right next to
I'll let
my
you know when I made my point. Thank you.
I don't care if you think I made my point.
So I'm asking, I was speaking to you out of courtesy,
No, thank you.
and I'm asking the deputy to please have him step back against the
I'm
wall.
not doing nothing wrong.
People want to be heard, let's go.
It don't matter, I'm not doing nothing wrong.
So you're gonna remove, so.
I'm not.
Guys,
I'm not
you're
being-
going to violate his right. Is there a law being broken?
I'm not being removed.
If there's no law being broken, please continue the meeting. There's no law being broken.
Thank you, public, I appreciate that.
Deputies don't do
Only
this.
the commies have a problem.
We are moving on.
Thank you.
Sarah, can we have you go over the, or I can do it also?
Sure.
Okay, we can take a quick break.
And then I can announce the first couple names for public comment, and I'd like take a 5-minute break, and then we will start with public comment.
We will recess until 6:20. Thank you, everyone.
You guys cannot do that. You're asking those deputies to violate our rights, which is going to be putting them in the crosshairs for your bullshit. Why would you do that? Why? Well, you're going to long for the days when we did public comment and left. There's no law being broken. You can't charge anything. Try it. You can't charge me. What are you talking about? You're not.
She said she's not. They asked her if she wants to trespass.
You can't trespass us. There's no law being broken. Did you guys literally ask them? What was the question then?
What do you ask?
She's saying she doesn't want to charge.
What do you say about trespass?
You can't make us leave, Sarah. There's no law broken.
You're welcome. So we're resuming our meeting. On the advice of council, we would like to ask deputies to remove our choose sign holders from the room. I'm very sorry, we'd like to have you back next time, but we have an orderly meeting to conduct here. So deputies, if you don't mind, thank you.
We're declining, sir. We're declining. We're declining.
Do you want to recess the meeting until we handle this issue?
I think we'll recess the meeting until 6:30.
Are we in recess? Thank you. Cone v. California, guys, look it up real quick on your phones. They're going to learn this lesson, and your tax money's going to pay the bill.
And folks that are standing here in the hallway, we're over fire code, so I do need you to go.
Oh, fire code now is going to be used to get people out. That means the reporters here are going to have to go too.
You're in violation of fire.
Yep. You guys are going to have to go. You don't have a seat.
What's that code say,
So
Sarah?
there's
Can you
room in the back
explain
where you
that?
can hear the meeting, and you can still sign up for public comment, and Chad right there, the guy with the plaid shirt, can show you where it's at.
Any firemen in here, get it?
That's, I'm talking to the head chief engineer, and he said that we're at building code.
Any firemen in here want to help us question that? Are we at code or not?
So I just want those folks here, so we can have a clear sight.
You're getting really close to me.
There's no law being broken. There is no law being broken.
And, Mr.
There is no law being broken.
Listen, what I'm gonna ask is that you just move down.
No.
I'm not asking you to remove your sign at all. I'm just asking you to move away a little ways from staff. That's all I'm asking. I'm gonna,
Channel?
yes, Lieutenant Channel.
Oh,
So I'm
Lieutenant
gonna,
Channel?
I'm gonna ask you to.
She's
sit down.
asking, we're going to decline. Thank
But
you.
here's the thing, if you don't want to, then I do not have a choice but to ask you to leave. And it's
Okay,
actually not an ask.
she's gonna ask us to leave
But it's
again.
actually not an ask.
What is it?
I'm
Okay.
gonna
What
have
is it
to
then?
tell you to leave on behalf of the
I
county commission.
decline.
On behalf of the county commission? Okay, we're declining. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to decline that. Thank you.
Okay, then you're gonna have to walk out.
I'm not leaving.
We're going to decline. Thank you.
Then for the sheriff, I'm gonna have to arrest
Under, for what?
Under what?
you
Under
for
what?
disrupting a meeting.
We are not in, the meeting's in recess.
We cannot continue the meeting at this point.
No, they cannot continue the meeting. That's not on us. We just have a sign. And you have the whole room here saying it's not a problem.
Charges disrupting a meeting? Is that what you're saying?
We're in recess right now, ma'am.
How have I
They
disrupted the
cannot, they
meeting?
cannot.
We were
continue the
silent for the
meeting.
whole meeting. I've got evidence that we didn't disrupt the meeting.
This is free
I can sit through.
Why did you bother to ask me?
It's protected.
Yep, I got you. It'll take them time to book him in, won't it? So really, it's only him?
Boogeyman seems to be gone.
Really? Really? They're going to resume now?
You disrupted it. You disrupted it. You did it. You disrupted your own meeting.
Sarah, who do we have next?
Sue Herring?
Okay, Sue, you want to come on up?
Hi, my name is Sue Herring. I have some questions here tonight that if, in fact, I can get some responses later, I would greatly appreciate it. Tonight, in all fairness, please tell me how the three of you are any benefit to your constituents in Douglas County. Last week, the poster child for the administrative state, Sarah Plinsky, an unelected appointed bureaucrat, helped orchestrate, along with the three of you, the arrest of Justin Spies, violating his First Amendment rights. The arrest, being illegal, will be a case going to court. You did nothing to stop her. Yesterday, I paid property taxes on my home and rental properties. The exorbitant amounts paid are due to overvaluations of property here in Douglas County. My bottom line is being crushed because there's no way to recoup my losses. In good conscience, as a landlord, those losses can't be remediated by raising rents to the extent needed. In fact, the rate of increases in our taxes exceeds the rate of inflation. You've done nothing to change those valuations. What, if anything, do you do about the published pages of uncollected property taxes that's published in the Lawrence Journal World? Why should anyone keep paying property tax when you do nothing to collect what's in arrears? The City of Lawrence has an idea to create a place for everyone, budgeted at $267 million. This, given a rough figure of 500 homeless, boils down to spending $534,000 per homeless person. No wonder Douglas County, by way of Lawrence, is being flooded by homeless people. To the best of my knowledge, you've done nothing to rein that in. No one I know of can wrap their head around so much money being spent on a pet project for so few people. It's a fairy tale. Someone using a dose of reality should stop spending so much on so few. Those of us who work and earn need more respect. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah, who do we have next? Okay, Dr. Spies.
All right, my name is Dr. Justin Spies. I've been censored the last 3 weeks while speaking up here, and I was unlawfully arrested here last week for the sign I was holding during the meeting because I said unfavorable things about you commissioners. Shannon, you justified censoring me here 2 weeks ago because I was supposedly insulting Patrick Kelly's character. Why do I have to be respectful to you guys? You weren't respectful to me during COVID when I told you that you do not get to make parental decisions for my daughter to wear a mask during COVID. You were not my daughter's parents when you mandated everyone wear masks starting at age 2. You also didn't bother to listen when I said that masks on children was child abuse, completely dismissed me as not possibly knowing what he's talking about. Why should I have to be respectful to you all or anyone in here? Why? I'm not obligated to be inclined to be a certain way towards you at all, and I'm especially not required to be respectful towards you all in order to be able to speak in here. My freedom of speech is a God-given right. It's not a Shannon Reed given right. It's not a Patrick Kelly given right. It's not a Karen Wiley given right. And it's definitely not a Sarah Plinsky given right. So question, if someone were to say in here during general public comment that it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated, would you consider that to be fighting words? Why or why not? Would you prevent them from saying it because it's offensive to proud unvaccinated people like me? Would you say that it's insulting to say the pandemic of the unvaccinated? Would you allow it?
You did allow that to be said during COVID, essentially putting a target on all unvaccinated people, but that was no problem. But I come in here and say women have more balls than Patrick too, and I get censored and arrested for having it on my sign. Get some perspective and get a grip. Have some thicker skin. You guys are public figures, and you're all un-American. So you all get to control the narrative. Positive, respectful things are allowed because they make you look good. The truth, however, is forbidden. And the truth is, women have more balls than Patrick too. And I want to know why last week I couldn't stand up here with this exact same sign, but I can right now. Why can I say women have bigger balls? Women have more balls than Patrick too right now, and you're not turning my mic off? Wow. Why? What's changed? 1 week ago, I was arrested for this sign, and now I'm just allowed to sit up here and speak now? Why? Do you think that chills speech for the public? Sometimes you can come in and say shit. Sometimes you can't, depending on your fucking feelings, getting bruised and hurt, and your ego hurt. You know how much money it's gonna cost me for that fucking arrest, for standing here with my sign?
Do we have anyone else on the list?
I left my sign at the back of the room because it seems you guys have maybe learned your lesson. What he spoke about and what Sue spoke about, the arrest last week, it was orchestrated by Sarah. And we know it, we saw it, I've got video of it all. I've got video of her talking to the people and organizing everything. And then the interesting thing is I've got video of you guys saying to remove both of us. You guys saying that both of our signs had to leave. And you guys saying that it was about both of us, and then only one person gets arrested. I'm sorry, why didn't I get arrested? I mean, really, later on this evening, like Sue, if you can get back to me and let me know why I didn't get arrested. And I can tell you why things have changed today, is because they're trying to clean it up now. They're trying to make it look like it was never about the sign. When we know it was. We got video of it. But we're going to ignore the sign now. Patrick, for 2 weeks in a row, you guys have made a huge issue about this sign. Shutting his mic off, muting his speech, muting the entire room even, so that he's not even heard on ancillary microphones. That's an insane overstep. There's a couple other Patricks in here that I can respect, or one that left. I actually met with Patrick Schmitz recently, this week, to talk to him about the TRC. From what I understand, that's your baby. That's something about your legacy or something somebody was telling me. He met with me, and we discussed the fact that the TRC staff tells homeless addicts that they don't do treatment when it says it on the fucking sign. That's an escalation that causes a crisis situation to explode. Him and I discussed that. And believe it or not, he was actually able to see and understand the inflammatory nature of those words. You would never even meet with me about it. I sat in his office for an hour. Well, 45, because he was busy that day. He didn't get assaulted. There was no violence. There never is. Only pussies. And that's the problem. You guys need to, grow a pair, really.
So for that, do we have anyone signed up yet on the list, Sarah, that you know of? Okay. Is there anyone in the room who would like to give public comment?
My name is Dr. Justin Spees. A few weeks ago at this meeting during general public comment, someone said of Commissioner Karen Wiley, Karen, I want to begin by saying I appreciate your stoic demeanor and that you give the impression that you're really listening to us, and I appreciate that to no end. This commission allowed that speaker to say that without interruption or muting the podium microphone. After her, I spoke and said the words out loud that are on my sign, and you all muted the microphone here and prevented me from speaking any further. In previous meetings, speakers have heaped praise on the commission without being silenced, and without fear of being silenced by the commission. They were free to say things like, quote, "I want to thank your tireless efforts in keeping your patience. I want to thank you all for your public service, and I really appreciate all the work you have done to keep the county safe. I greatly respect the guidance the commission has given," unquote. Those statements speak favorably to your character as commissioners, and they paint you all in a positive light. But I can't say women have more balls than Patrick too. Why? Why are certain things said about you allowed, but other things said about you aren't allowed? At another previous meeting, Michael Irby said, "Patrick, you sure are a pussy." And Karen Wiley, you interrupted him saying, quote, "Michael, we'd love to have you address us on anything of issue, but you'll have to manage your aggressive language," unquote. Michael then informs you all that Cohen versus California says we can say fuck, to which you, Karen, said, quote, "It's not the words," unquote, and then you shut off his microphone. Well, what is it then? If it's not the words, what is it then? You say he needs to manage his language in one sentence, but then in your very next breath, you say you're not censoring him because of his words. How are language and words not the same thing? How does someone manage their language without changing their words? And so if they have to change their words in order to be allowed to speak, then it's not free speech. A few minutes later, I come up to speak and say, "Yes, Patrick, you are far, far below being a real man." To which you, Karen, interrupted me saying, quote, "I'm afraid we're not going to allow personal insults, but you certainly can make any comments you like," unquote. How is that not based on the content of my speech? How is that not viewpoint discrimination? How does that not violate your rule that you read just now at the beginning of each meeting when you say, quote, "We do our best to enforce rules consistently and without regard to the point of view expressed by the speaker," unquote? How are you not violating your own rule and the Constitution? I'll wait.
Do we have anyone else who'd like to give public comment?
I still got a little time there, Karen. Why are you interrupting my time? She didn't raise a sign that said, "Please stop."
Do we have anyone else who'd like to give public comment?
Why is it just him? Why is it that when I showed up, all the shenanigans and bullshit stopped? Over at the courthouse, you guys used to grab him because he caught a sign in. The sheriff even threw the sign once in a violent and aggressive manner, and you did nothing about that. I show up, Deputy Steele comes to try to take his sign one day, and Jill Jolicoeur waves him off all of a sudden because I'm behind him with a camera. Why is it him until I show up with another camera? You guys ruined the fucking man's life just by not letting him speak. Ridiculed him, made him a pariah of the area, turned your deputies loose on him, your little Gestapo thugs, because that's what's going on. I just had a conversation back here where the captain, I think he's a captain, says that if you say that we're disrupting and remove us from the room, he's just gonna do it. I just hopefully educated him on what the actual statute says, and I know the reporter over here doesn't give a shit what the statute says because he's just carrying your water too. But there's nowhere in that statute that any of this met the requirements. And now the city's trying the same shit. And I can't get an answer over there as to why we're trying this bullshit, why we're doing this. If you guys can just answer that we're done arresting people over their speech or over their signs, I could be done and you can have your 3 minutes back each week. How much time do I have left? I'm asking how much time I have left.
I don't want to interrupt you, but you're at 1:50.
Okay, we'll see if Karen Willie can stay quiet for 1:10. So once again, it's just him that you interrupt? Your bias shows through, Karen.
Anyone else who'd like to give public comment?
Little Nazis.